Away, boys.
Wisconsin is known as the America's Dairyland, but for those who race against the number 6, it's also known as Cameron Land. Now, California has notched more wins at the National Park of Speed than any other premier class racer in history, with 11. But the number 1 plate began his march towards his second national championship right here with a convincing 15-second victory in race 2 last season. And Herron, after a solid start to the season, is firing on all cylinders. The battle to see who will reign supreme in the Badger State goes green on a racetrack where anything can happen. It's time to go racing. It's time for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. It's round 3 of 9 for 2025 and a MotoAmerica Superbikes at Road America weekend in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, on 4 miles of outstanding, beautiful, smooth, and fast asphalt. Race number 1 for Superbikes on deck. The riders are ready to get after it under beautiful sunny skies with the wind blowing here in Wisconsin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, standing alongside 2-time national champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, at the top of the show, we mentioned it all. Cameron Beaubier, this is his land. I mean, he has won 11 times here, and he's very hard to beat.
He really is hard to beat here, Greg. His racecraft is the best. He's on a great motorcycle. He's always fast every time we come to Road America. As you can see here from some of the past results, the Superjet, right now he's leading the points. This time last year, Greg, we came here and it was a wet race, and this is the one that really upended his season. He tipped over here in the rain, broke his heel, missed a round or 2, but let's not discount that guy next to him, Josh Herron. This is where his championship starts, like you said in the tease. He's going to be ready to go.
So for Cameron Beaubier, you can see 11 next to Matt Mladen with 9. And, of course, Josh Hayes still active in our Motivation Super Sport class, not in this class, with 8 wins. And Cameron Beaubier has lost a couple on his own account. But one of his biggest rivals in this class for Cameron Beaubier is one rider named Jake Gagne. He's won a couple championships. And, Jason, you had an opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with the 32, Jake Gagne.
This morning had a great first session, third, I believe. And Jake, I think I'd like to start off by looking at 2024 coming into 25. I think it's a relief for all of us to see you back up at the front.
Yeah, it was a bit of a wreck last year. You know, it was a weird spot to be in my career after coming off some pretty awesome couple of years with this team. And yeah, it was tough at times for sure. I feel like, you know, obviously with the issues I had with my kind of hand, carpal tunnel, and arm pump, and kind of made some bad calls at certain points, you know, with some of the procedures and stuff I did. I feel like it was kind of a mess. So I'm just happy to be back here, feeling pretty good on the bike and trying to push forward and run with those guys.
The encouraging part for me, I think, was the off-season, seeing how much testing you were doing. When was it that you jumped back on the bike during the off-season and kind of felt like, okay, things are definitely improved?
Yeah, obviously we kind of pulled the plug with a couple races to go, or middle of the year there last year, and then we were back on the bike in, I want to say December a little bit, and then January, February we were kind of fired up riding more, so it was good to be back in the swing of things and getting some testing in, and just being able to ride. There's nothing that replaces riding, like you know that.
Yeah.
So I've been able to ride these things a lot in testing, and also be riding dirt bikes and bicycles and all that stuff, and kind of feeling like I'm getting back to a sharper self.
So last year when I'm watching the races and calling them and seeing you rolling around in 7th and 8th place, I could only imagine what you were thinking. Was there a time last year when the season was getting ready to finish that you thought, this might be the end for me? I might not be able to ever get back to where I was, and how refreshing is it knowing that we are back?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, those thoughts go through your mind. I mean, it was kind of a tough run there, and I wasn't feeling good. And when I mean, as you know, when I'm feeling like I was on the bike, there was kind of I didn't even want to be here, you know. I mean, I love the crew, I love all these guys, but I feel like I got a job to do and I wasn't doing it. So I'm happy to be back kind of making progress every weekend and trying to get closer to those guys. And having a teammate like Bobby's been awesome this year. And Superbike class is stacked. Obviously, Beaubier is the man to beat this year, and he really wants that thing. So we'll see if we can kind of keep making progress and try to go fight with those guys.
Well, I think I speak for a lot of people. It's great to see you back up front, and look forward to the rest of the season. Thank you so much.
Thanks, JB.
All right, that's awesome. Riders Chat with Jason Pridmore. Happy to bring that to you. Thanks for that with Jake Gagne. But as we can see, the grid is formed up. The third member of our broadcast team, Hannah Lopa, is down on the grid with the number 1 plate.
So much talk at the show open about how this is Cameron land and he dominates notoriously at this track, but not if Josh Herrin has anything to say about it. Josh, you got sights ahead of you. How do you plan to attack this race with Cameron being notoriously so good here?
Yeah, you know, he's, I think we both, you know, if you look at qualifying and practice, we separate ourselves from the field. So I would think it's going to be us two going out there. I really got to kind of think about it as the race goes on, because yesterday I was able to get one kind of half lap, quarter lap behind him, and I didn't have the legs on me yesterday to get him at the line. So I got to really think, you know, and think hard about it throughout the race and kind of plan what I can do to be able to get a win. Even if I am able to put myself in the front of him, I'm worried that he could go by me by the line. So really got to be smart about it. But we got a great bike underneath me this weekend. I'm happy. Got through the first 2 rounds like we always talk about. And I feel like this is the time, like Pridmore always says, where, you know, start kind of picking away at the season and get the confidence back up again. So we're in a good spot. I'm happy with the bike. You know, happy we got the 2 babies born on Monday and got that out of the way before this weekend. So yeah, just pumped right now, ready to go.
Big weekend for Josh Herrin, and his experience will surely serve him well in this round. For Sean Dillon Kelly, first time at this track on this bike. Sean, what are your thoughts ahead of this race? Quick.
Yeah, no, pretty happy. We're back on the front row, 3 out of 3. So let's see, it's race time now. Want to turn this into a podium now.
Best of luck, guys.
Yeah, it'd be great if we could see SDK be able to put that Suzuki on the podium. Let's take a little look here, a track map of Road America. This is a 4-mile race course with 14 corners. And when you look at it and you see those lines rolling, those long straightaways can create some incredibly close race finishes. But down into turn number 5, that's going to be a key spot, as well as the drive out of turn 14. That's the overhead look at it from the track map that was built here in 1955. But let's take a closer look. A more in-depth look with our Insta 360 track lap.
This, Greg, is one of the greatest places you can come. You're going down into turn 5, hard braking zone, a lot of drafting going down that straightaway that takes you into this corner. Very easy to make a mistake, so you want to try to stay away from that. Then we're going to be talking about this one a lot. The carousel goes on forever as you go through this big, long right-hander. You really have to have a bike, Greg, that works well through here, because when you go into this Mission Bridge, into this chicane, you can make a pass on somebody going into there. This is the run up that start-finish line. You can see how steep this hill is, and then right there you see the tower where the checker flag's going to fly.
And there was the line. Thanks to Josh Herrin for those pictures. All eyes on the number 6. Can Cameron Beaubier get his 90th career win here at Road America? Race starts in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere.
MotoAmerica Superbike is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series, and by NXT Bets. Play MotoAmerica for cash. Multiple race classes live on top sportsbook and DFS platforms all season long.
Staying with you here on MotoAmerica Live Plus as we are getting closer to race time for Superbikes. Here you can see Josh Herrin continuing on with the team. It's about time to go racing. It's been a big week. You heard him reference it in that interview with Hannah Lopa. Welcoming the babies, yes, plural, on Monday if you haven't been with us. Josh Herrin, his wife Rachel, their son Griffin there, welcoming baby girls, twins, into the family this weekend. Now growing to a family of 5. Lots of great memories ahead for this family. Josh Herrin able to make it out here this weekend, continuing on with his championship hopes of defending that Superbike title. Carrying the number 1 plate. Big congratulations to the entire Herrin camp. Now underway for the warm-up lap. Unfortunate news to report. We know that Benjamin Smith at the tail end of that second qualifying session earlier today having an issue, having to pull off to the side of the racetrack, make the long walk back to the team, the bike going back to the paddock area on the back of a flatbed. And unfortunately for Benjamin Smith, they will not be able to make a call to the grid for the racing today. Hoping to see them back out tomorrow. Take the opportunity to remind you that you can play MotoAmerica for cash. And Superbikes, baggers, and the Super Sport categories, they're all now live on the top sportsbook and DFS platforms. You can just scan that flow code on the screen or visit nxtbets.com/PlayMA to see what's available in your location. You can sign up, claim exclusive bonuses, and make your picks now. Betting is already closed for Superbikes. It closes 30 minutes prior to the lights going out for each class, so you still have baggers that you can get your bet in on for today, but all of the odds will reset as we get ready for racing tomorrow. Take a look at the odds to win for baggers. Roger, what do you think?
Well, Kyle has been so fast all weekend, it would be really hard to bet against Kyle, but look at James Foley there winning the Mission Challenge this morning, so he has a little momentum going into race 1 this afternoon.
It would be a great long shot bet if you're looking to make some money. Indeed, already carrying that momentum. There's a front row lockout for the factory Harley-Davidson by Dyno Jet team. Kyle Wyman, our pole sitter, going into racing later on this afternoon with a brand new track record as well. So just remember, the betting will close 30 minutes prior to the start of the race, so you better get those bets in now if you're wanting to potentially win some cash later on this afternoon. But right now, it is Superbikes. All these riders making their way around. We'll talk about the history that could be made for Cameron Beaubier, our pole sitter for the 3rd consecutive time this season, tied with Josh Hayes in terms of all-time AMA wins, both of them with 89. Cam having the chance to take that top spot today. All right, Roger, final thoughts as everybody gets back to their grid position.
I think just don't let Cam get away, and I think you'll see Josh Herron early on not let that happen. They know what Cam's going to do, and they know what they can't let happen, and Josh is going to fight like crazy to stay there with Beaubier.
We're going to send it back over to Greg, Jason, and Hannah.
Starting grid for Superbike race number 1 here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. It's Beaubier on pole from Herron and Sean Dillon Kelly.
Then we got the 2 Yamaha teammates, Bobby Fong, Jake Gagne, with Hayden Gillum on that Honda outside row 2. Then we have Escalante, Ashton Yates, Benjamin Smith, who I don't think Greg's going to make the start. Flinders is back there with Kornbau. Then a little bit further back, Lewis, De Silva, Waters, Arango, Campbell, and Pinkstaff. Giannato, Storlanello, and Pinkstaff. And I didn't mention, but he is there, JD Beach. Also on the 3rd row. Here we go.
12 laps scheduled for this Superbike race, and revs are up. Lights off, and here we go. Not sure if that was a little movement, if that was our camera, or if somebody had moved, if Sean Dillon Kelly. But either way, here goes Cameron Beaubier. Down into turn 1 on this first lap. Beaubier's already got 2-3 bike lengths on Josh Herron.
He runs wide,
he goes wide.
Yep.
So Herron goes right to the lead. Beaubier gets shuffled back to 5th place. Boy, it looks like there might be an issue.
Let's see. We're gonna. Oh, he's wide
Yeah,
again.
something's wrong.
He is wide. Did he do a clutch? We'll see right now. If he gets out of this turn and he can keep the bike rolling, yep, he's going again, Greg. So I'm not exactly sure what happened to Beaubier, and he's not going to be worried too much. As Bobby Fong is already having a look at Josh Herron as they go down into turn 5. Gagne 3rd. STK didn't get the best jump, but you see Beaubier there. He does get himself back into 5th. So the Titleist BMW looks like whatever problem there may have been, it's got itself sorted. But up front, Herron over Bobby Fong. Bobby has been really fast off the start. I'm just looking back there a little bit. You see the 2 different lines between Herron and Fong. 2 different lines there going through 7. And they go down, brake hard into turn 8. Gagne's going to want to get on the back of these 2 early as well. As you see him there in 3rd. But the front 2 guys are starting to just creep away. And then it looks like Cam Beaubier is still back there, Greg, maybe in 4th. So we'll have a look.
Yeah, Beaubier's 4th.
Yep, okay.
Losing touch, but still. So the number 1 plate, Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati. Josh Herron on that Panigale V4R. That, of course, is the bike that's been used last year. There's a new bike that's being sold to consumers that we won't see in Superbike trim until next season. That bike awfully fast. And then you have Bobby Fong on that Attack Performance Progressive Yamaha R1. And then his teammate, Jake Gagne, the 32 right behind him.
Yeah, and you can see Beaubier's got whatever problem is sorted out. He's going to be able to try to draw back up onto these guys. He's got a lot of race left. And the 6th there as he comes into your picture. I'm looking for STK as I see Escalante is in 5th. And I just didn't see what happened to STK. He didn't get the greatest of starts, but I saw him in 4th or 5th going down into turn 3. And now I know his teammate has at least passed him, and I just don't see STK on my screen. So we'll keep an eye on that as they get ready, as they come up the hill for the first time. It's going to be Herron, Fong, and And then you're going to end up having Gagne and Beaubier. You see Gillum back there. I do not see STK in our shot, Greg.
Yeah, I saw earlier Jason coming out of turn 5 and up the hill towards the bridge that someone had put their hand up just for a moment, and I wasn't sure who it was. So maybe SDK you talked about is either there or on his way to the pits.
Yeah, and that might have been what caught my attention, Greg. As you can see, here's the start, and
yeah, there was movement.
I don't even know if he went over the line, but irregardless, Greg, he's not out there, and I don't see him anywhere. So what caught my attention out of turn 5 for that brief second was probably STK, to your point, Greg, getting his arm up. There he is.
Yeah, he's in 17th. He's working his way up.
Yeah, but he's rammed wide again, hasn't he? So I don't know what the problem is, but yeah, STK's got some sort of problems. You get a quick little look there. I believe
that's Bryce Kornbauer on the 17.
Bryce Kornbauer, his teammate,
then
is
you
in
go
this
back.
race too. But
yeah, there he is, number 40 on the division wheel in for X-Star Suzuki. When he went by the stripe, he was in 17th place. 84, though, is Joe Giannato, and Giannato was in 13th place. So you can see Giannato now in 15th.
Yeah.
On the left part of your screen, Sean Dillon Kelly in 16th place. So back to the front we go. Josh Herrin, fastest lap of the race at a 14.688 after lap number 1. Bobby Fong trying to keep in touch, but all eyes on the number 6 of Cameron Beaubier, who's now caught the back of Jake Gagne on the 32. So the Tyler Cycles BMW rider, Cameron Beaubier, going after his fellow Californian in Jake Gagne, who now resides in Colorado. And Gagne on that Attack Performance Progressive Yamaha with a little bit of wheel spin. We're going to be keeping a real close eye on Cameron Beaubier's lap times, because this is the danger part for the rest of this field. When Josh Herrin gets comfortable out front and he's able to have clear track, he is really dangerous. Let's get to Hannah.
Notably absent from the starting grid, Ben Smith. I spoke to him just before the race here in the pit lane, having some mechanical issues this morning. They were unfortunately not able to resolve ahead of this race, which is unfortunate after having such a good run in Atlanta, hoping to get it fixed and back out there for tomorrow.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see Ben Smith back on the racetrack as Cameron Beaubier gets by Jake Gagne, doing a 2:11.041. So Josh Herrin at a 2:10.427. Hey, play MotoAmerica for cash. Oh, and a crash.
STK.
And it looks like Sean Dillon Kelly pushing too hard to try to make up some time or something going on.
I don't know, Greg. I think it has brake related. You know, we saw him run wide in turn 5. Look at it. He's got no brakes. And when you dart to the inside like that, you can't get the bike slowed down. I'm wondering, he had brakes, but something is way off. When you see a rider of his caliber go that tight, that early, and he was trying to get himself threaded between 2 riders down there in turn 1. Something weird was going on from the start of the race for STK that he was trying to figure out. And we're hearing that he's up and he's okay and walking. Turn 1, Greg's a big one, as we saw last year with Cam Beaubier. So just the fact that he's up and okay and walking, that's good to see.
All right, so play MotoAmerica for cash. Superbike Baggers and Super Sport Series are now live on top sportbooks and DFS platforms. Scan the float code or visit nxtbets.com/playma to see what's available in your location. Sign up, claim exclusive bonuses, and make your picks now. All right, Jason Pridmore. So we know that, we talk about lap times. The fastest lap around here set in a race was Josh Herrin at a 2:09 flat. 2:10.4 is what Herrin's having to do in order to maintain this lead, as Bobby Fong has slipped into the 2:11 flat bracket. Still the fastest lap for Bobby Fong, but Cameron Beaubier, there's a look at Sean Dillon Kelly by left part of your screen, up and walking. So Beaubier still a 2:11 flat, Gagne at a 2:11.8.
Well, let's see what these next couple laps really start to show us with Beaubier, because I can tell you right now, the number 1's going to come across the line. He's going to see +1, and he's going to start to maybe see that grow. He had a second lead the last time by. Let's see what it is this time. This time it's 1.1, so Bobby Fong is hanging in there. 2:10.9 to a 2:11 flat to Cameron Beaubier's 2:10.9, but he's some 2.7 seconds back. Gagne running 2:11.6, so he's a tick off, Greg, is the 32 at the moment. So Beaubier is going to have his head down, 9 to go. And Herrin's probably going to be surprised to see that it's Bobby Fong behind him and not Cam Beaubier. As you see the 2 Honda teammates of JD Beach and Hayden Gillum locked into a battle here in 7th and 8th spot. Of course, Hayden Gillum, new swing arm this week. They're slowly getting this Honda of Gillum built into a Superbike. JD Beach had a stock 1000 race a little bit earlier, but right now they're locked together as they head down into turn 5.
Teammates on the real steel Honda. Both of them are on a Honda CBR, a 1000 RR-R SP. Having a good battle. And JD Beach already having a heap of laps under his belt as we had stock 1000 class here this weekend as well. And their race happened earlier in the day. So that battle rages on. So for Josh Herron, a 2:10.9. Cameron Beaubier, we see on our timing and scoring screens, has set the fastest Sector 1 time of the race and his best Sector 2 time. So Beaubier is pushing. And Jay, as we look ahead out front to the number 6, I think we got to really think about the fact that Cameron Beaubier is one of the most experienced riders, having obviously multiple championships here in our class, gone off to Moto2 and back in race action after some injuries. And for Beaubier, he understands that there's 8.5 laps to go. He's not trying to do it all in one lap. But for Cameron Beaubier, he's got to really play it cool. But for the number 1, Hannah, big life changes, as he mentioned earlier in the broadcast.
At the start of the show, Josh mentioned he had a very exciting start to the race week, bringing 2 baby girls into the world with wife Rachel, and I'm sure she is cheering so hard from home right now, seeing him out front. But when I talked to Josh about it, he said it was definitely a whirlwind, but mom and babies are both doing great, and his son Griffin is so excited to be a big brother. He was just absolutely gushing, showing me photos on his phone of the girls at home, and I know that he's eager to get back to them. So hopefully this will be good to bring some trophies home. He's gonna have to bring home 2 this weekend, 1 for each daughter.
Yeah, I'm sure Griffin's there cheering as well. So congratulations to the Herron clan, that everyone's doing well. Back to the race.
And here it comes, Greg. 2:10.9 and 2:10.5 for Bobby Fong. 2:10.9 for Herron, but 2:10.2 for Cameron Beaubier. So he's got that Tyler's BMW wound up now, Greg. As you can see, Gagne has fallen back a little bit. Gagne up the front 4. He's on the harder compound Dunlop. He's actually on the R8. The 3 in front of him are on the R7. So we'll see if that plays an advantage for Gagne. At this point, though, these 3 have the pace. They're getting away from the 32, but more importantly, the 6 is closing in on the front 2 guys.
Beaubier chipping away at it. When they came across line about 2 miles ago, it was 2.1 seconds. And you can see that Beaubier, the number 6 Tyler Cycle BMW, starting to close that gap. This also might see Bobby Fong, if he knows. The hardest part about this track, Jay, is the laps are so long that your pit board, you don't know your pit board for 2 minutes and 10 seconds plus.
And there's times, Greg, when you're at shorter tracks, you can kind of tell where you might be giving up a little bit of time. MotoAmerica is almost impossible to tell where you might be giving up that time at until you follow the rider. Now for Beaubier, this is such a confidence boost when you see guys getting bigger and closer towards you. For Bobby Fong, he's done a really nice job at responding to the pace that Herron has set. He went his quickest lap of the race last time by at a 2:10.581. So for Bobby, he's starting to see Herron get closer, but he's also going to see on his pit board when he comes by that the number 6 is on his way forward.
So right now, pretty processional, about a second apart for the top 3 in what has turned out to be a gorgeous day in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, on a much larger than usual crowd has turned out to cheer on these racers in all of our categories here in MotoAmerica. It is so impressive to see how many fans have arrived to check out this great race action. Another look at the timing and scoring screens for us. 2:10 flat now for Beaubier. He's closed the gap to 1.4 seconds over Herron and down to a half a second over Bobby Fong. So 2:10.7 for Herron, 2:10.8 for Bobby Fong, Hannah.
Bobby told me it seems like they're making more changes than normal to the motorcycle this weekend with engine braking and traction control, but they've got a much better handle on it after this morning session. He does like this track a lot, but in talking to him, I noticed his confidence wasn't as high as we normally see from Bobby Fong, but I also think that's when he tends to really do his best work, when maybe he's not feeling the best. He just kind of goes out there and clicks off laps and stays in the zone, and he's doing just that right now.
Yeah, talking to Jake Gagne, you can tell he had a lot of praise, Hannah, for Bobby Fong earlier in the week. And he said, you know, the neat thing about Bobby is he deserves to be where he's at. And so far this year, I really feel like Bobby's taken advantage of that. You know, Richard's been working with the same 2 riders for a few years now. He's got a little bit of fresh blood in there with Bobby Fong. We watched him do the double last year at Brainerd on an R1 that is similar. in the sense that it's the same brand. He did a lot of off-season testing, and it's also great when you look at yesterday. We had a wet qualifying, and there was only about 4 or 5 riders that went out. This guy right here on the number 50 stayed out there for nearly the whole session and just worked on, just in case it rained, just in case it did whatever. He was just out there putting in the laps, putting in the miles.
Plus, he's newer to the team, right? Jake Gagne has a lot of information, on this Yamaha R1 in wet weather condition, and I think it would benefit everybody. Bobby Fong going out and turning out those laps, and that's where you have a session where we're going to have days like today, and tomorrow is expected to be absolutely gorgeous. What do you do when it rains? If there's only one session during the weekend when it rains, and they chose to stay out, and Bobby Fong getting a lot of valuable laps. He doesn't need laps around here. He knows which way the track goes. But more data. Back to this battle. Here we have 27. That is Ashton Yates and JD Beach. So these two Honda CBR 1000RRs getting after it.
Right now, Greg, they're running 6th, 7th, and 8th as Hayden Gillum has gone up the road a little bit. As we look at here, 2:10.3 for Herron. Herron does his personal best fastest lap, and it was quicker than the 2 behind him. So he has now responded as well to that gap coming down between 1st and 2nd. And Cameron Beaubier, 2:10.4, so he was 4/10 off, but he did do the fastest 3rd split. So Cam gained 2/10 on both the guys in front of him in that last split. I think pretty soon here, Greg, if Beaubier gets by Fong, he might be able to pull Bobby along with him and get up to the back of Herron. Herron's just going to keep the gas down and keep trying to hit his marks up in the front.
The one thing Herron doesn't have that Fong and Beaubier have behind him is looking to where their competitors are stronger. So Beaubier can see up the road where Bobby Fong has got his strengths with his motorcycle set up and where Herron is as well. So if this comes down to the final lap of the race, you have to say that in terms of understanding where the speed's coming from his competition, Cameron Beaubier has probably the best advantage.
Yeah, for sure. He can kind of see everything and play things out a little bit. And the laps here are so long that you got to remember, even if it's 4 laps to go, you still got 16 miles plus of racing set in front of you. Any other track you go to, you think 4 laps to go isn't going to be very much time. But for these guys, Greg, it's well over 8 minutes still of racing to go. So Bobby Fong really doing a good job. He's closed that gap, 2/10 in the first split. He was only a fraction of a second quicker in the second split, but you can see he's kind of opened up that gap on Beaubier. So we're gonna have to find out exactly if the issues that we saw in the first half of the lap of the race for Beaubier is something that has continued to plague him, or if maybe he's used up some tires. Although I really feel like the Dunlops are very durable. I know these guys are all on the R7s, which is a softer compound, obviously, than the R8 that a couple other competitors are using. But I'm loving what I'm seeing right now from Bobby Fong, just grinding these middle laps of the race out of his bike right now.
Yeah, but Herron also, with all the pressure that's on him, he comes across, sees his spit board, and it's saying half a second. He's cranking out those laps. But Bobby Fong, like you were talking about, Jason, just grabbed 6/10 of a second back from the leader, Josh Herron, and Cameron Beaubier. His forward progression has stalled. So he goes 2:10.7, exactly the same as Josh Herron. So with 5 laps to go in this race, things have all of a sudden turned into a 2-horse race unless Cameron Beaubier can start digging deep. Even though Beaubier, Jay, set the fastest Sector 4 split of the race, the overall lap time didn't really result.
Back-to-back laps he's done that, actually, that last split. I'm never counting him out, ever. I've never, as long as I can see the number 6 in the shot, I'm never going to count him out because I've actually done that before. And then within half a lap or a lap, he'll be back up on the back of people. So Cameron has a way of being able to adjust his riding to the situation and to the conditions. Last year at this time, when it was pouring rain, he had made a mistake, if my memory serves me right. He had made a mistake early and dropped way back. He was going some 1.5 quicker in the wet than the leaders. And at that point in those conditions, I thought that there might have been some risks that were being taken because, Greg, in those conditions, anything can happen. When we have a perfectly dry day like it is right now, this track is phenomenal. It's smooth. It's like I said, it's the best place that we go to. He adjusts himself to the conditions, and Beaubier will figure out how to ride that bike and get the times that he needs out of it to get back to these guys if it's actually doable.
All right, so for Bobby Fong, though, fastest Sector 1, personal best split for him. Fastest Sector 2, personal split for him. The last couple sectors, it's been all personal best for Fong. He doesn't best his Sector 3 time, but he still gains 1/10 of a second in our Sector 3. just so you know, you're aware, Sector 3 is going to be basically from turn 8 all the way down to Canada Corner just before you get into turn number 12.
And some of the things that I see, especially in the chicane, if we stay on these two guys in that next lap going down through the chicane, you'll see how their speed is different and how they generate corner speed through the middle of the corner. Josh gets it into the last part of the chicane and kind of squares up the chicane on the exit, where Bobby will let that thing roll through there. As you can see, this is what I'm talking about. He'll get it in there, get the bike slowed at the apex, get it up off the edge of the tire early and get on it. Bobby will be, his line, Greg, out of there is much more rolling through the middle of that last sector, or the chicane. And you can see it when they're really close to each other. Bobby Fong has lost a lot of time, Greg, in that first part of the lap. I wonder if he got into turn 1 a little bit too deep, because now, look who's there.
Well, there definitely was a puff of dirt that came off the back wheel of one of those riders.
Look at that.
Yeah, so a 31.2 versus a 30.6 in sector number 1 for Bobby Fong. He's lost all kinds of time.
0.6 of a second just in that first sector. So Bobby might have made a mistake in turn 1 and through the middle of turn 1. Now it's going to be a matter of, we've got about 3.5 laps to go. Beaubier now has Bobby in the gun sights, and you got to think that the BMW, if he can, he's going to try to draw up onto the back of Bobby out of the chicane or out of that last corner and try to make the pass as easy as he can. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything with Bobby down through here or into the chicane. The R1 seems like it's working really good down here. JD Beach is pulling his Honda off the track right now. That looks like it's going down towards in the turn 3 area.
So for Beach, it looks like his race is done, and he was battling for that 6th, 7th, 8th position when he pulled off the racetrack. So something happened between here and turn number 1 to the number 50, Bobby Fong, and he lost all that time, where Josh Herrin was just doing what Herrin does. 1/10 off his fastest time.
But see, what'll happen here, and what we've seen in the past is, if Cameron can get close enough, if he drafts Bobby, he will then draw Bobby down that next straightaway. It'll be a thing if Bobby can stay in the draft of the BMW, because I really do fully expect the number 6 to go past Bobby Fong as they come out of this last corner and drag race up this hill. We're coming up to 3 laps to go. Herrin just has head down. I haven't seen Josh look back one time, and here comes the BMW. It pulls alongside of that attack Yamaha and goes past. Now for Bobby, he's not going to be worrying too much. His importance now, get out of turn 1 behind Beaubier the best he can. More importantly, get out of turn 3. Cameron extremely fast through turn 1. This is the corner where Bobby's got to get in and through it fast, and he can stay in the draft of that BMW, hopefully down the back straight. 190 mile an hour down that front straight for Beaubier that last lap in the draft. And that's going to be some 6 mile an hour quicker because of that draft.
And I was going to mention that lap before, when Bobby Fong was only 3/10 behind Herrin, he went his fastest trap speed at 185 miles an hour. So something happened between turns 1 and turn 3 that have put Bobby Fong on his back foot, and now he's losing time.
And now he's losing time, Greg, and this is why you never ever count out the number 6, ever, because he just figures out a way to ride around if there is a situation or if there's a problem. Beaubier just kind of does it on the fly. He figures out what he's got to do, and there's a reason why he's on, what, 89 or 90 wins for the career. So,
yeah, this one would be the record breaker right here. He's tied with Josh Hayes at 89.
Yeah, so, but see, there's places right now that I can see visibly where Herrin's bike and Herrin himself are just a little bit sharper and a little bit better. Look at that first split. 30.4 for Beaubier and a 30.8 with how many laps on these tires now. Beaubier just continues to flash up red sectors.
And that's it. He keeps pushing the issue. We can see the fastest lap of the race from the number 6, but then Bobby Fong looks like he's kind of settled down as well, so he's not going anywhere either. And when Herrin gets to the stripe after these next couple of corners, it's going to be 2 laps to go. Wow, look at Beaubier. His rip through Canada Corner right there. It looked like that made up another 1/10 of a second or so. So Herrin has been so consistent this late in the race. He is only like 1.5 tenths off of his fastest time. Herrin has been like absolute clockwork, but it's Beaubier who continues to push the issue. And now coming up on the straight, Josh Herrin's board is going to tell him what is going on. So as they go It is a 2:10 flat for Cameron Beaubier, fastest lap of the race, so half a second gained on the number 1.
And let me tell you right now, Beaubier's in deep. That's going to be his. I don't think he's going to come back from this one, Greg. That's going to be his race 1. So he gets himself into turn 1, makes a mistake. He goes 2:10 flat on that last time through. But man, the consistency of Herrin up front.
That's it.
That is going to be it.
That's
right
the
there.
pressure.
Yep.
The pressure was Herrin putting those laps down just a couple tenths apart the entire race. Can't wait to see Herrin's race progression after this one. And Herrin knew he was coming. He got the pit board, Jay, and so now Herrin doesn't know he ran off in turn number 1, but Herrin goes fastest sector 1 split of his race.
And the mood changes when you see the number 6 is behind you. When you come by your pit board and you see that it's Bobby Fong, you give that guy as much respect as you can. But that mood changes when you see the 6. Herrin saw the 6 on his pit board for the first time. Goes fastest split in the first split, as you said. Gained over half a second just in that split alone. And he's not going to know that.
So for Cameron Beaubier in that replay, Jay, it looked like he was entering turn 1 a little bit wide, and you know about that bump in turn number 1.
Yeah, I do know about that bump in turn 1. I've been reminded already in this race by a friend at home about that bump. And as they go down through this carousel, Herrin's not going to know, Greg, that mistake has been made. This is the other, I don't know if you call it a disadvantage, but you got to wait 4 miles, like you said, to get that pit board.
Unless you look behind you.
That's right, and he's going to come by this next time, probably see plus 1.5 instead of plus half, and it's going to be the number 50 on the board, not the number 6.
What a job Josh Herrin has done at the beginning of the race. He got the lead, he set the pace, he got exactly what he wanted, which was clear racetrack in front of him so he could do anything that he wanted to do. And when he goes back and looks at this race, he's just going to giggle at all the ruckus that's going on behind him and how things unfolded. But on the back of fast lap times and very consistent lap times, Josh Herrin has put himself in a position where he's got over half a second lead on Bobby Fong. And here he comes to take the white flag. One more lap to go for the Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati rider. Number 1 plate, your reigning national champ, Josh Herrin, and does it again. Only 1/10 off of his fastest lap of the race. This is how you do it, kids.
That's what he does. He just responds. He responds to things like that. And when somebody gets by him, he fights right back usually. Now, for Beaubier, he's going to do everything he can to catch Bobby Fong, try to get that 20 points back, Greg. But Bobby is so strong right now, and I think that it's going to take something special. But I think Beaubier is going to have the time. He's going to drop. He's close enough right now where he's going to feel the draft. Not to pass him down in turn 5, but just to draw him a little bit closer.
Yeah, so Beaubier has had a rough race. The beginning got really weird. He dropped back to what, maybe 5th place, 6th place, and then he was able to claw his way back. But the difference between 2 laps, he was doing 2:10s, and he did a 2:12 after that mistake into turn number 1, where, by the way, when he got onto the curbing, he lost the front and was able to save it. So Beaubier put himself in danger even after he was running off the track.
And you see how much dust there was out there, how dirty that part of the track was. But the heat in the tires and those kind of things would definitely help him as he ran off and got into that dirty part of the section of the track, or off the track, I should say. And now he's just going to put himself in this mode to try to gain as many points as he can, Greg. And really, by the time they come through or out of Canada Corner, I expect Cameron to be on the back of Bobby Fong and then try to draft him up that front straightaway.
Like Beaubier understands too, Josh Herrin. And you know, we talked to Hannah about those first 2 races and how he was able to gain as many points as he did compared to last season. And we're getting into the stretch where Herrin and his motorcycle work really well together for the next few racetracks we go to, as Herrin has put on an incredible show on this final lap of competition. Canada Corner, couple laps left to navigate for the number 1 plate to notch another victory in MotoAmerica Superbikes. A lot of fans came here to see Josh Herrin perform for him, and he has done the business.
See if he has a little glance over his shoulder on the exit here, Greg. Sometimes not. He has been head down. I love it. He has been head down from the start as he gets ready to finish this race.
Warhorse HSBK Racing Ducati rider Josh Herrin takes victory in race number 1, and to the stripe they go, and Bobby Fong able to hold off Cameron Beaubier by 0.009 of a second. So Fong will be 2nd place on his Attack Performance Progressive Yamaha, and Cameron Beaubier on his Tytler Cycles, the local racer. And here's a look at that finish. It is the leading edge of that white line. That is your finish line, not the yellow line in the middle, but the leading edge is where it happens. So Fong able to hold him off. And by the way, Josh Herrin, fastest sector 2 of the race on the last lap with a 2-second lead. That's how much he had his head down, Jay. You talked about it. Didn't even look like he looked back. And I do have to say, I love the blue helmet and blue boots.
I love it,
It's a good-looking kit.
Yeah.
You know, we saw that earlier
Sharp.
today. Herrin, as usual, gets it done right. Oh, yeah, he needs to be happy about that one. And he's saying hi to the family back home, and a lot of love for the twins, and, of course, Griffin and his wife. So Herrin, with 2 additions to his family on Monday, gets on an airplane, gets to Wisconsin, and brings home the trophy.
One of those weeks you don't kind of forget, right? So it's been an unbelievable week so far for this guy. And, you know, like we've talked about, like he even said on the grid, we say it all the time because it's been kind of his narrative that, boy, by the time he gets here, he's ready to kind of get his season started. 210.3, Greg, as you're pointing out there on the left-hand side of the screen. And then also that 210.4 with 1 lap to go. That's pretty impressive to be only a 10th off.
What a win for Josh Herrin. So, for Herrin, his 16th Superbike win of his career, we get to talk to him about how he was able to get that done when we get back to Road America.
Staying with you here on MotoAmerica Live Plus to watch this cool-down lap, the celebration lap for Josh Herrin.
What a week for him. Twins on Monday. Come here. He was really fast this morning in that second qualifier, and we kept talking about how close he was to Cam Beaubier, and he just kept doing those low 210s. And man, when the lights go out, Josh knows how to step up. He's got incredible racecraft, and he did that today like he always does. He just knows and finds a way in these battles to come out on top.
Let's go back to that qualifying session this morning. Josh Herrin, if you remember, he came in about halfway through the session, put on the orange banded tire, did a couple laps on it, set a great lap, but then he went back to pit lane, put on a harder tire, the race tire, went back out, did his best times of the session. That's when he was the closest to Beaubier in qualifying, and then he was able to duplicate laps here in the race.
And that's the thing, what you practice and qualify, he's able to come here and put it together in this race, and you can just, you know, he's always been really strong at this track, and he's just able to put it together, and that's why, you know, he's really climbing the ranks of the wins of the MotoAmerica all-time win list. And it's been fun to watch the last couple years of Josh finding another step in his riding.
That was the 55th win of Josh Herrin's AMA career. He came into this race tied with Rocco Landers for 7th in terms of all-time victories. Now he is able to get around Rocco, slot in right behind Jake Gagne, who has 57 victories. So that battle will continue on throughout the course of this season. But even with that number of wins, 55 wins for Josh Herrin, you can see as he makes this celebration lap what each and every one of them means to him.
Yeah, just because how much work it goes in. Superbike races are so hard to win, and Josh knows that better than anyone. He's been in the Superbike class for a couple years, and I think he knew today was going to be a big battle, and he was able to come out on top.
With the sort of week that he's had already, welcoming twin babies, he's going to have an exciting FaceTime call home with Rachel and Griffin. I can only imagine. You see Cameron Beaubier in the victory lane area to celebrate this podium result for him. Able to finish in 3rd today. It was a great ride for Bobby Fong also.
Great ride for Bobby. He was able to step up big time from compared to what we've seen in practice and qualifying. And right there in the middle of that race, I thought Bobby was going to close down that gap. He's just missing a little bit those last couple laps where he lost touch with Josh Herrin, but he was able to capitalize on Beaubier's mistake and end up 2nd.
And you can see the big smile on his face as he's dissecting this race with his team. A lot of good things coming out of this weekend, and we know we talked about it during qualifying earlier that yesterday when only 4 of the Superbike riders went out there, Bobby Fong was out there by himself for about 30 minutes, just lap after lap putting in the work. See the shake of the head from Josh Herrin, just disbelief, but big smiles all around. A lot to celebrate here in this victory today.
His consistency as well. I think that's where it really separated. The other guys could do a couple laps, you know, maybe better than him, but not his best laps wasn't as far off as his competitor. So he was able to kind of maintain that gap and just consistently be able to do those, just reel off those 2-minute 10-second lap times.
So you've got Ducati, top step, Yamaha, BMW second and third, and then it was an 18-second gap to fourth place. Let's hear from him. We'll go back next door.
MotoAmerica Superbike is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series, and by NXT Bets. Play MotoAmerica for cash. Multiple race classes live on top sportsbook and DFS platforms all season long.
Look, this 34-year-old loves to win as much as anybody in this pad. I'm just going to say diaper money too, right? I mean, absolutely. Josh Herrin, what a great win on the back of fast and consistent laps. Here's a look at the results. So at the end of the day, it's a 2.8-second margin of victory. Cameron Beaubier just losing out by 0.009. That second place. Bobby Fong raced him to the line. Gagne, Escalante, Gillum, and Ashton Yates. Let's get down to Hannah in victory lane.
Josh Herrin maintained control of that race throughout, very consistent. What allowed you to do so throughout the race?
I guess it's like Colin Edwards said in Faster. You get married, you get a half second. Have a baby, get a half second. Then I had to decide we need to have 2 more so I can get a second. But no, it just, Cam was coming. I saw a +0 on my pit board. I guess he ran off on that last lap. Going into 1, he pulled us in pretty hard. He had a misshift or something happened on the straightaway on the start, and he went into 1 deep. I followed him, and I thought we were going to get swallowed up there. I guess I got out good. Maybe he did. So got a little bit lucky there at the beginning. But, yeah, my Ducati V4 felt amazing. Guys been working really good to get this thing ready. Like Pridmore and Greg say, I'm just I don't think it's just the fast track. It's just the first 2 rounds. I'm always a little scared and riding a little bad, and I need those first 2 out of the way to get going. But the biggest thing I want to say is hi to Rachel, Ava, Palmer, Griffin back home. It's been an exciting week for the Herrin household, and I'm glad that we were able to make it out to this race with the babies being born, and I didn't miss it. So it's yeah, huge week for me. This is awesome to come back and get a win. So thank you to my entire Warhorse, HSBK Racing, Ducati team. Thank you to OnlyFans, KYT Helmets, Alpine Stars, Good Boy Vodka, Herrin Compound, everybody that's involved. It's a huge team effort, and the Warhorse team, man, I've been saying it for years. This is my family, and even when we get some bad races, they know that we're coming. So it's yeah, it's exciting to be back up here. Happy to be here, and huge thank you to the entire facility, all the fans for coming out. I haven't seen this many fans at a MotoAmerica race. This is my 20th season racing in this paddock. This is the biggest crowd I've ever seen here. So thank you guys for coming out. Thanks for making this awesome weekend, and yeah, see you out here tomorrow.
A lot of congratulations in order this week for Josh Herrin, guys.
And Jason, you and I have been saying the same thing that Josh just said, definitely about the crowd, but really good winner speech for Josh Herrin. Couldn't be happier for him. But Bobby Fong put up quite a fight in this race. He's with Hannah.
He certainly did, Greg. And Cameron Beaubier putting a lot of pressure on you at the end of that race. How much was left at in the tank to battle with him?
Honestly, I gave it everything I got. But first off, I want to say congrats to Herrin. He rode a hell of a race, and congrats to his newborn babies. And Cameron was keeping the heat on the whole time. I knew it was just a matter of time. But man, these guys keep pushing me every weekend. But my track performance Yamaha has been running really good, and Richard and the whole crew has been doing a lot of work. So it's good to get up here and get on the box, and we want to do one step better. But we're just going to keep on improving and having some fun. And like Josh said earlier, this crowd is awesome. The weather's great, and look forward to tomorrow.
And Bobby put on one heck of a show, guys.
He certainly did, and really just a huge push at the end of the race, and had within 0.3 of a second. But after things went the way they went, able to hold off Cameron Beaubier was impressive. But for Beaubier, well, Hannah, you're with him right now, and it was quite an exciting race.
It certainly was. Cam, how much risk were you willing to take there throughout the race to kind of make your way back toward the front?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to take too many risks, but I definitely had a lot of moments out there. I was pushing the front around, sliding the rear, and honestly, it was just a race full of mistakes. I was fighting my bike a little bit. I didn't really feel like I felt in practice and qualifying, but good thing the Tyler's BMW had some legs. I was able to run him down a little bit and made another mistake on the last lap. But hats off to Josh. He rode incredible. Same with Bob. they're both riding really good right now. It's yeah, going to be a tough day tomorrow, but we're going to go back to the drawing board and see what we can improve in warm up. And yeah, like these guys said, thanks to all the fans for coming out. It's always, you know, it's one of my favorite races of the year, and my whole family's here this weekend, so that's super special. Little boy Brody, and enjoying the weekend.
Congrats, Cam, guys.
Yeah, it was quite a performance. And Jay, there were plenty of opportunities for Cameron Beaubier to put the thing on the deck, and he was able to hold on to it. Our coverage continues from MotoAmerica when we get back from this commercial break.
Lots of great sentiment there on the podium from our top 3 finishers. Roger, let's go ahead and start dissecting some of what we learned. For Josh Herrin, he was able to push when he needed it most, but he's the first one to always put his hands up and say, it's all about the team behind me too.
And that's been the big thing ever since he's went to the Warhorse team. Josh is able to get better, and I think, as he said, he's so much better when he's having fun at the track and racing and being able to be Josh. And with that team, he's been able to do that. And now they've been winning a lot of races together, and it's a lot of fun when you're winning, and I think that helps the atmosphere as well. But I think Josh just believes in his team, even whenever they might be struggling a little bit. I think he always feels like in the back of his mind that they're going to be able to bounce back.
What about Bobby Fong after getting off of the bike from that intense battle that he was in there with Cameron Beaubier, able to look across at his competitors and congratulate them not only on the performance today, but just on the life moments as well. For Bobby Fong, putting in the work, proving that he deserves to be out here, but also showing just the camaraderie that exists within this paddock.
Yeah, and really we kind of thought that Herrin and Beaubier was going to kind of check out. They've showed such incredible pace over the rest of the guys. It was awesome to see Bobby make that big step, and he was able to improve a lot going on into this race. I'm not sure what changes they made to the bike, but Bobby was able to find a lot of speed compared to what we've seen this weekend.
We heard early on that they've made a lot of changes to that bike over the course of the weekend. We'll see what they have in store for tomorrow. And on that note, go to Cameron Beaubier. He said it, a race full of mistakes, making another one there on the last lap in order to get more comfortable for the race tomorrow. What did you see they need to work on?
I just think they need to figure out where he was struggling. You could tell he didn't look as comfortable as we've seen in practice and qualifying, and then also mistakes. And one thing that Josh Herrin was able to do with that pace, he was able to force a couple mistakes, and that's why you always want to keep the pressure on. But just figure out where he was having those moments, talking about losing the front end in some spots. Clean that up going into tomorrow.
Rado Faraci getting to spray the champagne here at Road America. You can see Josh Herrin laughing as he's coaching him through the process of getting it to spray across to the team that is there in victory lane. Great behind the scenes moments here. Exciting celebrations for everyone involved. As we wrap up Superbike coverage here at Road America for today. We've got another race tomorrow. Roger, with all of the bikes that are out there, the Superbike Cup competitors as well, think about very similar conditions of what we're expecting for tomorrow. What would you like to see?
Well, I think the big thing is just who can make the right changes overnight. A lot of riders, like you heard Beaubier say how important the warm-up is going to be in the morning, and that's what it's going to be. You take a guy like Josh, really good, just probably going to make a couple tweaks tomorrow. They don't really want to change a lot. Some guys that's a little bit off, like Jake Gagne, might take a bigger swing at it overnight.
Let's quickly get down to Michael Hill. What are your thoughts here on Superbike, Michael?
Yeah, an incredible Superbike race. It's pretty whet our appetites for tomorrow. I've actually made it onto the grid for Mission King of the Baggers, so the bikes are already coming down here. I think this is going to be a great race as well. But as you said, Jamie, what an incredible week for Josh Herrin. And that really, I think, just sets us up, as I said, really nicely for tomorrow. I'd have quite liked to have seen a last lap fight between Cameron and Josh, but I think we're going to get that tomorrow, and I think you can't discount Bobby Fong as well after such an amazing race. In terms of Mission King of the Baggers, first rider back onto the grid, just coming past me now, is Rocco Landers. Bradley Smith down here. I guess the question in this one is who's going to come out of top. Is it going to be a Harley Davidson, or is it going to be Indian? We're going to hand over to Greg and Jason. Mission King of the Baggers race 1 is coming up next.
Jason Pridmore, here are the highlights from race number 1.
Here we go, Greg, as they went down into turn 1. Beaubier ran wide. This would be something that we'd see him do on the last lap of the race, too. You heard him talking about his racing just riddled with a few mistakes. It was these two guys at the front early. Bobby Fong was the early challenger to what Josh Herrin was laying down. Beaubier got that slow start, started working his way back through people. This was a crazy accident that we'll get to the bottom of and give everybody a report on tomorrow. SDK just didn't look like he had brakes to me as he went off into turn 1 and crashed. I'm so happy to see this, though. The young man gets up, walks away. Really, though, Herrin just controlled this pace, ran 2:10s nearly the whole race. At the end, Bobby Funk almost got drafted. On this lap, it looked like he did. I thought that was the run to the flag. This was the mistake that we saw late from Beaubier. Gets out, gets into the dirty part. Bobby Fong goes back by. Herrin goes across, and then Bobby Fong does hold on just at the line there to get that second spot away from Cameron Beaubier and keep his points in his year kind of rolling along.
Yeah, that photo finish for Herrin. Could this be the march to the number 1 again? Our coverage rolls on from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin when we get back.
With 6 different categories on the property, there is not a lot of time in between these race sessions here this afternoon. You heard Michael Hill say it. It is time for Mission King of the Baggers. Bikes already completing their sighting lap out in their grid positions. Kyle Wyman again setting the track record here in qualifying today. We had a tremendous Mission Challenge race earlier today. That was won for the first time this season by James Rispoli.
Yeah, and that's a great ride for James. He's had such a strong week in that little accident yesterday afternoon. That first qualifier didn't set him back, and he was able to get out this morning and be quick in that second qualifier and then turn that into a win in the challenge.
Let's get down to the middle of the grid and see if we can catch up with Kyle Wyman. Here's Michael Hill.
Yeah, down here with Kyle Wyman, fastest ever lap in Mission King of the Baggers earlier on in qualifying. A strong run in the 2-lap challenge. He's in pole position and eyes focused, I'm sure, on the top step of the podium. Kyle, how are you feeling?
I feel good. You know, we've got 3 very strong Harleys here on the front row, and heck of a bike underneath me this weekend. I'm really just so proud of these guys for all the work they've put in, and looking forward to a good 5-lap race here. It's going to feel like a sprint. It's going to feel kind of crazy, but I know we have the pace, so we're going to be patient and let it come.
As you said, 3 Harley-Davidsons on the front row there. No team orders at this point of the season, I'm sure, so expecting a big fight. As you said, your opposition's behind you, so got to make this thing as wide as you can.
Make it wide, and yeah, 3 Harleys on the podium today would be pretty amazing, so let's see if we can get it done. Absolutely.
We're going to take a little walk to the second position on the grid. That is Bradley Smith, of course, making his MotoAmerica debut down here. Claudio Corti down here, former Stock 1000 champion, former MotoGP rider holding the umbrella. Bradley Smith down here. Bradley, you've done the hard job getting yourself into the middle of the front row. What can you do in this one?
He also informs me that he was winner of the Superstock Race 2 here 2016. So he says I can't let him down today. So now what an awesome day for us to lock out the front row, Harley-Davidson factory racing in front of our fans and our sponsors here. So it's been nice. These new liveries are looking awesome. Kyle is going extremely fast, so just try and hold on to the curtails and do the best I can.
Excellent stuff, and I'm sure he was probably about 1986. Claudio Corti is about 65 now, isn't he? I won't translate what he just told me in Italian. James Rispoli, we're going to try and get a quick word with him. He's just down here with some of the VIP fans. And of course, if you are a fan of MotoAmerica, you can be part of the VIP experience and get pictures on the grid. We're going to be very, very quick because I know we're going to get some pictures. Already got the job done in the 2-lap challenge. This is a little bit longer. This is where the points are. Can we do the double, James? No pressure?
Man, we're going to try. Listen, we're going to be the smartest we possibly can be out there. You know, Kyle's got extreme pace. So do we have that? I'm not sure, but we have amazing pace here. This CVO Road Glide, the new livery in Harley's backyard is so good. And I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling comfortable. And let's try to get it done.
Excellent stuff. We're going to let him go. I'm going to make my way off the grid. I'm going to step away. It's a 5-lap Mission King of the Baggers. Going to band back over to Jason Pridmore and to Greg White for the call.
Welcome back to a crowded Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin here at MotoAmerica after Superbike race number 1 is over. And Josh Herrin did a great job, led it from start to finish. And here's the way the championship standings with Cameron Beaubier finishing 3rd and 16 points. It could have been worse for him at some point. But it's Jake Gagne who's now got 26 back and Josh Herrin only 27. Started with more than that at the beginning of the day. Bobby Fong with 35, so we're really starting to see our top 4 settle into this thing, Jason.
Yeah, and there's no question. And for Bobby Fong, that's good that he was able to beat Beaubier and close that championship gap down, even though he's in 4th. All these points are going to matter at the end of the year, but big win today for Josh Herrin.
I know Cameron Beaubier said that he was fighting his bike, but how valuable is these next few hours going to be as they download all the data and download Cameron's data heading into tomorrow morning's warm-up?
Yeah, that whole team's going to get together and figure out what exactly was going on, and I think that there's going to be a lot of that with each one of these teams, including the M4 team. They're going to want to know what happened to STK there.
Yeah, we're going to try to get that information for you for sure. So we can't wait for tomorrow. Superbike race number 2 coming at you. It's going to be a totally different animal, but from what we're told, the sun is still going to be shining. Lap times are going to be super fast as we bring you round 3, race number 2 from MotoAmerica here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. We certainly enjoyed that. We can't wait to see what's going to happen tomorrow on this 4-mile road course. For Hannah and Jason, I'm Greg. We'll see you tomorrow.